Hello, I'm Katherine.
And I'm Donovan Kennedy, filling in for Maria Palazzolo.
Let's begin with Eastern Europe, where tensions are mounting in Ukraine. Throughout the last several months, protesters and the now cast-out President Viktor Yanukovych have been at odds with each other over disagreements of who Ukraine ought to more closely ally with between Russia and the European Union. Upon removal of Yanukovych, the government looked likely to side with the European Union, claiming that they are to protect the peace. Russia has responded by sending 16,000 into Crimea, a southeast region of Ukraine that is an area of great importance for Russia due to the access it offers to the Black Sea. Western powers are considering the matter to be serious. President Obama has issued a warning to Russian President Vladimir Putin that their actions would be costly, but has thus far avoided specifics. A NATO spokeswoman said that the allies were gathered in solidarity. One way these actions could possibly affect Russia is by the possible boycott of other countries of the G8 summit scheduled to take place in Sochi later this year, which would be primarily a symbolic gesture. The G8 is comprised of Japan, the United States, Russia, and several Western European countries who combined represent many of the wealthiest and most influential countries in the world. It is unclear what other actions may be taken against Russia by either the United States, NATO, or other nations. For more perspective on this, we go to senior Cold War correspondent, Mr. Lavin.
Well, I don't know if I see this as the Cold War, a new Cold War. It's more like early 20th century, late 19th century balance of power politics, where countries carved out security zone spheres of influence. Ben Franklin once said the older he got, the more he was unsure of absolute truth, that doubt matters. And I would think in this particular case there's a lot of room for doubt. The other night on television I saw our former ambassador to Russia, Michael McFaul, interviewed on CNN. And McFaul raised the question, he wasn't even sure what Putin is trying to do. He wasn't even sure that Putin had looked ahead to see the consequences of his actions, and he wasn't sure whether Putin was getting really reliable information on the condition of Soviet or Russian nationals in the Crimean Peninsula. So I don't think this is so much Cold War, although it seems to have that kind of tone to it. It's more of classic big power politics that went on in the 19th century and the early 20th century before there was even a communist state. Doubt matters.
This past weekend was the 55th annual Mostaccioli Dinner. The event ran from 11 to 7 at West Campus and included 36 vendors ranging from charities and service organizations like Catholic Charities and the Knights of Columbus to for-profit vendors for products like cosmetics, Tupperware, healthcare products, and jewelry. 7,500 meals were served, and 3 lucky winners were chosen in the raffle, including Joyce Henn, who won the $10,000 top prize, and John Kelso and Mark Densler, who each won $500 second prizes. For more, we go to Jen Bettis from the SHG Advancement Office.
What is the money used for from the Mostaccioli Dinner?
Well, this year, actually on Sunday, March 2nd, we celebrated our 55th annual Mostaccioli Dinner here at Sacred Heart Griffin High School. We served about 75 to 8,000 meals, so about 7,500 meals were served that day. And we served 11 to 7, so serving that many meals in that length of time was pretty extraordinary, and we have a lot of volunteers that helped us make it possible, so it was a really big effort. And it's very important because the money used for the Mostaccioli Dinner goes towards the SHG operating budget, and we need the funds for the operating budget because the only 2 revenue streams we have at SHG are through tuition, of course, and then through fundraising. So if we didn't do these fundraisers like the Mostaccioli Dinner, the mega raffle, and different things like that, tuition would be a lot higher than it is even right now. So we try to do the fundraisers like Mostaccioli to keep tuition down. It's just a big community event. People have come for years and years and years, and it's like a big family reunion.
Anything about the volunteers, like how many were needed and things like that?
Well, the volunteers, we have a core committee of about 20 volunteers that meet almost year-round to kind of get everything ready. It's just a huge undertaking, but the day of and the weekend of, we need about 200 to 250 volunteers to actually pack up the meals and serve in the dining room and park cars and all of that, set up and everything.
Anything else you'd like to bring up?
Well, I would just like to thank everybody for supporting the cause. 55 years is a long time for one dinner, and we couldn't do it without all of the volunteers and support we have from the SHG and the Springfield community.
That's pretty great. They did great.
Yeah.
Next, we take a peek into the past with Mr. Lavin in Today in History.
Students, always do your reading.
Hi, I'm Emma Hardy here again today with Mr. Lavin to talk about what happened today in history. What do you have for us today?
We'll have several events on this day in history, March 7th, and the third is our usual question of mystery or puzzle question. On this day, 1530, King Henry VIII of England denied a request from the Pope for a divorce, divorced his wife, Queen, and then proclaimed himself the head of the Catholic Church in England, which was the beginning of the Protestant Reformation in that country. On this day in 1936, several hundred German soldiers were sent into the Rhineland by Adolf Hitler. The Rhineland was a demilitarized zone on the west bank of the Rhine River, and under the Treaty of Versailles at the end of World War I, it was to not be militarily occupied by the Germans. Historians now see that as the beginning of Hitler's attempt to use military force to spread Nazi power throughout Europe. And our mystery question for the week is this. On this day in 1945, the first American soldiers entered Nazi Germany. The question is, where did they enter Nazi Germany and how did they do it? And the answer will be revealed next week, our next segment.
Do you guys know the answer? Tune in next week for more history and the answers to those questions.
See you next week, and in the meantime, you should always do your reading.
Now for more weird stuff with David Ivanich.
Hello, my name is David Ivanich, and this is Weird Stuff. This week's topic, weird phobias. Xanthophobia, the fear the color yellow, or just the word yellow. Geniophobia, it's the fear of chins. It's chins. What's so scary? Now for some school-related phobias. Did ask Ellen phobia is the fear of going to school. Verbophobia is the fear of words. And that's it for this week on Weird Stuff. Back to you.
Did you notice how the weird phobia, hippopotamonstrosis quipideliophobia, is one of the longest words I've ever seen?
That's really ironic.
Fear of long words, and it's a really long word.
On behalf of all of us here at the Cyclone Broadcasting Network, thanks for watching. Get ready for spring, Sykes. And here are your birthdays of the week.